Freedom of speech scares the hell out of a lot of people, specifically countries who are ran by people who flirt with being a dictator, like this guy here, who's had a lot of memes going viral with him on Twitter right now. He's Alexandre de Moraes. He's like the Supreme Court justice, the head of it in Brazil, the guy that influenced Lula, got Lula out of jail for going to jail for Operation Carboy so he can come out and beat Bolsonaro so now they can run Brazil again. And he hates X, he hates Twitter, he hates Musk, specifically because of freedom of speech. And by the way, when you look at other countries that have banned X, you got China, Iran, North Korea. Notice those three countries, Russia, Pakistan, and now Venezuela. Can't stand it. There's a lot of things going on right now with Brazil and X. We're going to talk about that today. If you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. By the way, you know the weirdest people are defending Brazil and Alexandre de Moraes, like the actor Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk. Look what he said on X. By the way, Mark Ruffalo in this tweet is quoting de Moraes. Watch this. Elon Musk showed his total disrespect for Brazilian sovereignty and in particular for the judiciary, setting himself up as a true supranational entity and immune to the laws of each country. You know what Ruffalo says? Because he is a weird and entitled billionaire tech bro. Tax him heavily. Mark, you know what's crazy about your tweet? You're saying this while you turned off the comment section. And by the way, you don't turn off the comment section all the time, because I went through the tweet to see if you normally do this with everything. You don't. But on this one, you did, because you and the dictator from Brazil have something in common. You don't like criticism. You don't like people disagreeing with you. You don't like people saying you are wrong. You have that in common with him. By the way, that is as anti-American as it can be, because Mark, the country that helped you become super famous and successful, some of the founding fathers said the following. Here's a man named Benjamin Franklin. You ever heard of him before? Here's what he said. Freedom of speech is a principal pillar of a free government. When this support is taken away, the constitution of a free society is dissolved and tyranny is erected on its ruins. You, Mark Ruffalo, are flirting with tyranny. Here's another one for you, George Washington. The freedom of speech may be taken away, and dumb and silent we may be led like a sheep to the slaughter. Listen one more time. Dumb and silent, that we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. George Washington said this about freedom of speech. George Orwell, if liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. You can say to us, but open up the comment sections. Let us criticize you. But we can say to you as well, neither you nor Alexandre de Moraes like that. Now, if you're asking yourself, Pat, what is the reasons for their ban? Is there a timeline for? Let's go through a timeline what happened here. So, background, Brazil banned X as of Saturday, following a legal order by Supreme Court Justice, again, Alexandre de Moraes. The ban came after Elon Musk, the owner of X, refused to name a legal representative in the country. Reason for the ban, the suspension is linked to accusations that X was involved in obstruction, criminal organizations, and incitement. Specifically, the platform was accused of supporting digital militias, spreading defamatory fake news, and threat against Supreme Court justices. Moraes accused X of creating an environment of total impunity during the 2024 election cycle and enabling extremist groups to spread harmful content. To him, whatever is exposing him is harmful to him, which we get it. As a dictator, flirting with being a dictator, that's a problem for him. So impact, approximately 40 million Brazilian, or about 1/5 of the population, use X at least once per month, according to the market research group eMarketer. Now the penalties, ready for this one? Users connecting X through a VPN face a daily fine of 50,000 reais, which is $8,900 a day is what the fine is. You multiply times 30, you're looking at $270,000 a month fine in Brazil. You ready for this next one? Timeline for ban enforcement. Brazil's telecommunication authorities has 24 hours to implement the suspension, and Apple and Google have 5 days to block X on their platforms and remove its app. Internet service providers also have 5 days to block access to X. Did you understand here, Colin? This is crazy how afraid of X de Moraes is. Now this continues. Musk is not a pushover. He's not going to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to do this for you. No, here's Musk. He openly challenged a Brazilian court's order, posting defined messages on X, including an AI-generated image of Justin Moraes behind bars. Musk, a self-proclaimed free speech absolutist, criticized the court's actions as censorship. And in August, Musk announced the immediate closure of X's operations in Brazil after the court threatened the platform's legal representative with arrest for non-compliance with court orders. Now, the consequences of this, de Moraes has a reason for doing this. The suspension of X could significantly affect Brazil's local elections in October 2024, depriving thousands of candidates of a major campaign tool. X has been a vital platform in Brazil, where it has around 20 million active users in the first quarter of 2024, and support for conservative circles. Musk's stance has gained support from Brazil's conservative conservative groups who have long accused the judiciary of bias against their interests. Now, this is crazy because we're talking Brazil, but you know who else is interested in doing the same thing that Brazil is doing? EU. Watch this here with EU. So according to BBC, EU accuses Musk's X of breaching Digital Services Act, and their accusations and investigations is the following. EU has accused Musk's social media platform X of violating the EU Digital Services Act. The main concern is that the platform's verified blue tick accounts may deceive users into believing the identity of these accounts is verified, when in reality anyone can pay for blue tick. And evidence of the abuse, the EU's tech regulator found evidence of malicious actors exploiting the blue tick systems to deceive users, raising concerns about the platform's transparency and the potential for misinformation. The findings are as a result of a 7-month investigation under the DSA, which was introduced in 2022. The act mandates the large tech companies, X, including X, to take steps to prevent illegal content and protect the public. Notice that they were not investigating pre-Musk buying it. They never were too curious when Biden, Harris, they were sitting there getting involved saying, take this down, take that down. They were okay with all the people that got taken down for questioning the vaccine. They were okay with that. But God forbid now Musk allows people to go out there and talk about content. Oh no, we can't do that at all. And by the way, when Musk got people to pay for the $15 for the blue check mark, whatever the cost was, it filtered out a lot of the bots. So Musk actually eliminated more bots, where back in the days under the former CEO, they kind of liked those fake bots and we couldn't filter any of those out. So organizations, you can pay a lot of money to create fake retweets and fake likes and make something seem bigger and go viral because they had millions of fake accounts that could cause that to happen. But not today. They're not a fan of that today, that they're paying for it. Watch this. Watch the fine they're following. If X is found in violation of the DSA, it could face fines up to 6% of its global annual turnover and be forced to make significant changes to its annual operations within the EU, along with other tech giants like ByteDance's TikTok, AliExpress, and Meta platforms is under scrutiny as well for its handling of illegal content and misinformation. Now, obviously, all this stuff is, some are saying it's probably impacting his business. Let's look at some numbers here to see what it looks like. Revenue decline at X. Here's what it looks like. Since Musk acquired X for $44 billion, the platform has seen a dramatic drop in revenue. In the second quarter of 2024, X generated only $114 million in the US, a staggering 84% decrease from $661 million it earned in the same period of 2022 before Musk took over. This is how much many companies can't stand freedom of speech and the fact that Musk is running it. Reasons for the decline: significant revenue drop is largely attributed to advertisers pulling out due to Musk's controversial statements and actions. Additionally, X's decision to sue some of these advertisers has likely exacerbated the situation, further deterring potential businesses. By the way, advertising dollars may be down, but do you know what traffic looks like on X? They've blown up since then with active users. And by the way, keep in mind, before he bought, a lot of people are like, well, the traffic on X has gone down. Not necessarily, it's gone up. What Elon did do is he eliminated fake business. He eliminated the bots, which were allowed to be on back in the days, because when he was buying Twitter, do you know what's one of the requests he made? He says, can you tell me how many of the accounts are active? They didn't want to give the report, and it was bullshit. He's like, no, I don't believe you. I don't know if you remember that interaction back and forth when he was trying to buy X, and they didn't want to give him the real data because he said, this thing's got a lot of fake accounts. And then Elon brought the traffic back up. Now, some analysts are saying, they're concerned that he may have to sell off some Tesla stock, $1 billion to $2 billion, to be able to fund this thing here because it's not making the kind of money. And Musk had previously pledged that he was not going to sell more Tesla shares until 2025. However, given X's current financial situation, some are saying that he's probably going to sell some Tesla stock. Although he did just get paid his money, the $56 billion, the $55 billion. So maybe if he's going to be able to putting some money into it, he's got the money to pay it out because he took Tesla for being worth whatever it was, $60 billion or $55 billion to 650. He earned his $55 billion that he could put money from there. Now, here's what's crazy. A lot of these people that are bashing and trashing Elon Musk, they better realize how much he's contributing to the world. Let me say this one more time. U.S. better protect this guy, and many other people, country-wise, may protect him. Here's why. So everybody's talking about climate change and all this other stuff. Who's the guy that started EVs and everybody else followed his lead? He did. What company was that? Tesla. All right, next one. When NASA said, forget about it, we're not going to go out there and, explore what's going on. We're going to take a break. Let's shut it down. I think it was under Obama when that took place. A guy named Elon Musk is like, nah, I think I'm going to go do it myself. Can we get a few $1 billion? And boom, funds it. Gets the government to be part of it as well. And now SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, $62 million each launch. And NASA Space Launch System is estimated to cost over $2 billion per each launch. He's doing the launch. What costs him $2 billion to do, he's doing it for $62 million. To the point when Boeing's, the two guys that are stuck in space, Boeing's like, we're going to wait till 2025. Elon's like, no, we're going to contribute to come and help you out. How embarrassing is that for Boeing? We can sit there and talk about EV brands. Look at what he did here with EV brands. In US EV sales, no brand comes close to Tesla. You see the green 325, who's number 2? Chevrolet, Ford, Hyundai. You add all the other guys up combined, they're not doing nearly a half of what Tesla is doing. He's dominating there. Last but not least, Starlink. How many military and civilians are using Starlink? And you think he makes money every time he gives these things out? You think it's a profit center for him? In October, Musk said SpaceX's spending on Starlink for Ukraine was approaching $20 million a month, and that the company couldn't fund the service in Ukraine indefinitely. Musk then backtracked and said on Twitter that the company would continue paying for Starlink in Ukraine on its own. Ukraine's government last year said that 42,000 terminals are used by the military, hospitals, businesses, and aid organizations, and they give Musk the middle finger. Better be careful who you're fooling with. This guy's done a lot for society, and I understand why a lot of people won't like this guy, but I don't know who else is a bigger net positive to society than this guy here. So we best protect this guy. You're not gonna like everything he does, and sometimes he does stuff and he doesn't care what anybody thinks about it. That's typically what happens when somebody thinks as big as he does. You have a choice. Defend dictatorship, defend censorship, defend de Moraes' position, defend EU not liking freedom of speech. And then you got the other side, defend innovation, defend freedom of speech, just defend pushing the envelope, defend standing up to dictators. Which one you're going to defend? You have a choice to make. That's really we can change Musk's name to anything else. You have two things to defend here. These are ideologies. Are you on this side or are you on this side? You get to make the choice. If you got value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you are concerned about what happened with Brazil, I had Bolsonaro's son here and multiple other guys, Nicolas, some of the most famous people in Brazil. We had an incredible podcast and conversation here to find out what's really going on in Brazil. If you've never seen it, click here to watch it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.